Buckle up, Buttercup. Live from Gloucester, Massachusetts. Podcasting around the world. You're listening to the GloucesterCast podcast, a production of Joey Shimataro and Good Morning Gloucester Media. Kick back, relax, and enjoy the show with your host, Joey Shimataro, and his crew of merry castaways. No piping plovers will be intentionally harmed in the production of this podcast.
One. There it is.
Did you say one, Jimmy?
Yes, I said one.
Thank you for that, Jimmy. I am just getting it onto the site.
I want everyone to know that we're on.
Good. We are live. All right. Good morning, Gloucester. Good evening, Gloucester. Good afternoon, Gloucester. It's 2:34. I'm several minutes late, but we wanted to make sure we had everything just right. Thank you, Jimmy. Dalpiaz is manning camera one. We got a 3-camera setup. We're going to be going live. We're at Bass Rocks Golf Course. I think this is the first time we've ever streamed live from Good Morning Gloucester. We have some illustrious guests today.
Whoa.
Illustrious. We have
Illustrious.
course superintendent Chris Donato, not a virgin on the podcast.
Nope.
Been on before. We have America's guest AC
Whitfield.
Legendary.
Legendary bartender.
Has the mug to prove it.
Beauport. Gloucester Oyster Bar. Come on down. Come on down. Talk golf, movies, whatever you want to talk about. No politics, no religion, no Donald Trump. We're good.
He'll take good care of
In
you.
that order.
Chris McCarthy is with us.
Good night, Gloucester.
Sporting the goatee.
Yes.
He is. It's coming in now.
Yeah, nice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
The
Chris
lo-
gave me some fertilizer to try on my face, and it's working. So
the
next is the head.
Does Charlene love the love brush? They would call that the love brush in the business, right?
The business. What business are you talking about?
Talk about that lobsters.
You
Lobster
a,
business.
you a porn star?
We also have Pat Dalpiaz manning the comment section and Mike Codair for moral support. And actually,
How about
Mike-
Jimmy?
Jimmy, I did say Jimmy. Didn't I already say Jimmy?
I'll do fingers.
I said Jimmy was manning
did?
the cameras earlier.
I think
Yeah,
you missed him.
yeah. Jimmy Finger. Okay. Mike Codair responsible for several very good topics.
Oh,
See
jeez.
here it is. Give me the focus. Where's the
Yeah,
focus?
I don't know what's happening.
There it is.
There we
There's
go.
the focus.
That must be the new camera.
We've been very, very excited to get the do it from this club. Chris, why don't you speak a little bit about the condition? This is my ride home. I drive down Mullen Road every day, and the course looks spectacular. Is that a testament to the weather conditions or your work in general?
It's totally me. It's no one else.
100%.
100% credit. I will say we've had a great spring. This is probably one of the better springs we've had. I'd say mostly the weather is contributing to what we've got out here right now. We had a night. I had everything covered. It was definitely a questionable start. We had some ups and downs in the spring and in the winter. And when we're transitioning from the winter to the spring, you can get a lot of damage.
Okay.
And we just happen to be insulated this year. We tend to get more damage than most people because we were not protected by snow. But this year, Western Mass, Westchester County, and parts of Connecticut got hit really hard. And here we are. We're lucky. So I made sure I told the board last night that what comes around goes around. We've had our springs where it hasn't been good, but this year we're good. I would say definitely the weather's helped. It's been cold the last couple of weeks, so we're getting into we're slowing down. I mean, we haven't even mowed. Everything's nice and green though, so it looks good. It looks good from the street.
It looks gorgeous from the street. And AC we were talking earlier before we went live. And AC was saying, and he play. How much golf do you play on average year?
Last year, I play over 300 rounds a year. So that's well documented on my Instagram accounts. But, last year, of all the courses I played, and definitely the best greens I played on all last year. Without a doubt, we're here. And I played on some nice greens when I did my itinerary top 10 Bass Rocks, even though the course owns me, was definitely the best green. Best greens I played. I say own me until today. I still had a good round today, but yeah, best greens I played on all year. Connecticut, Massachusetts, the 9-10 states I played in last year. These were the best greens I played on. So it's actually good to meet the guy who made them. Got him in that shape.
I appreciate that. I will say I have a really good group of a good crew. My main crew has been with me a long time, and the club is really pretty supportive.
Yeah.
I can say last year we had a ton of rain, and we were closed a lot of days.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say it wasn't a headache for me because I caught a lot of shit.
But isn't it feast of famine though with the rain?
It is. I mean, you definitely don't want too much.
Yeah.
I'd rather have it dry than wet.
Really?
I can always add water, but I can't take it away.
And adding water is something that's somewhat unique to Bass Rocks in some ways.
Yeah, for sure. So, that's a big challenge, and where we tend to be a wet course when we have a wet year.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of damage, and unfortunately, golfers don't tend to understand. I mean, I'm a golfer before I was a superintendent, so I get it. Especially like Fridays seem to rain like Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, right.
And so if you played on Fridays last year, you hated me because we closed the course so many days. But, for that one round that you might not have played on Friday, we saved the course for the rest of the week. And a lot of guys and girls who are superintendents didn't close when they probably, maybe they should have.
Right.
And, we were
Trying to be
you
politically
did the
correct.
right
Yeah,
thing.
well, I say all the time, my job is to make decisions for the course, not
Right.
for the golfers all the time.
Right.
You got to balance those things because sometimes I have to protect them from themselves.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's just one round.
Yeah.
So
Joe, just quickly, a lot of people don't know this is par 69, which is kind of unusual. Most courses are 70 or 72, so it only has one par 5. It's not that long. What, 62?
Yeah, we're like 61. Yeah, it's like 6,040.
AC pointed out. It's got his. I've been playing for years. It's got my number. So, Chris, just speak to the uniqueness of this course. Not long, par 69, but yet it kills everybody.
Yeah,
He went down the middle and not have a good lie.
Yeah, so it's pretty unique. I mean, we have a lot of rock outcroppings in some holes, especially like the first hole. I mean, you can hit one, pipe it down the middle, and you might have a real tough second shot.
Well, Mike does that a lot. He just takes birdie. He
Yeah,
moves on to the next
the best
hole
way.
and
The
takes-
best way to start out a round is to give yourself a 3-on-1.
We call it bipstick, ball in pocket, sitting card.
Yeah, so I mean, we're a really windy site. So
Yeah.
even on a calm day, I mean, you guys have played. You can hit a 5-iron on the 8th hole, or you can hit a sandwich on the 8th hole. And then the native areas that we've added in the last. We have a lot of native areas. Areas, they're not necessarily in play, but they're not necessarily not in play.
Right,
if you
right.
spray it, and if you spray it, you could find one of those, and it's hard to get out.
Yeah.
So we only have, I think we counted it up last. We only have 30 bunkers. So it's
Oh,
not
wow.
like there's a lot of sand traps here either. You should be able to find it and hit it.
Yeah. Not a lot of water hazards.
No, there's one water hazard that's really in play.
Right.
That's
right.
it. I mean, unless you duff it off the first tee.
Right. But it's
So-
also the greens too, because I find reading these greens to be a challenge, and it looks like it's going to go left, but it goes straight or right. A lot of people say a lot of the holes break towards the ocean, so I'm still trying to figure out the greens.
Yeah, they're relatively.
He's trying to get insider information here so he can use it.
So
when
I'll
he-
tell you, I'm not a very good putter. I mean, that's the weakest part of my game, and I don't putt these greens well either because they're pretty subtle. And if I go to Salem, you can tell that the ball's going this way. At least I
Exactly.
know which way it's going. I might start it in the wrong
Great
spot.
point. Yeah.
Here, they're so subtle that, and there's a couple breaks, they're double, triple blick breakers, especially when they're slick.
Yeah.
You don't know where it's going. You miss on the wrong side, and bye.
Yeah.
I mean, easy to 3-putt.
Yeah.
So.
And you must love having the power of making these greens slick when you can for like tournaments.
It's funny. We try and do the same thing every day. I mean, when I first got here, I think it's 18 years ago, we didn't have the staff, we didn't have the equipment, we just didn't have the money. We still try and run it pretty lean. But pretty much do the same thing almost every day. I mean, people say to me, "What are you going to do for the member guests?" It's like nothing. There's nothing more I can do. Right. We do the same thing 5 days out of 7 days a week. Monday, we give them a little bit of a break. Tuesday, we're kind of coming out of that break. And then Wednesday, it's just start ramping them back up again.
Yeah.
And, I worked at the Senior Open and I worked at the U.S. Open down in Shinnecock. And we're doing the same stuff that they were doing. I mean, a lot of guys are. Yeah. Just, you're really not playing much difference.
So last question, I'm sorry. Favorite hole, and what would you consider the signature hole here at
I can give you the least favorite hole, 7. I'm sorry, that's my least favorite hole here. That hole owns me.
Me too. 7's tough. I think my favorite hole, geez.
That is a good question, favorite hole.
I really like the 4th hole. Now that we've made some changes out there, it plays well. 6 is a great tough hole. I don't know. 9 is great. I mean, now that you got some views from the back tee on 9, and it just sets up nice to your eye. There's some spots where you stand on 9 and you can see across 7 and 4. So from a visual standpoint, it's that. But they're also
you must
fun.
fade the ball then.
I can move the ball anywhere I want, Chris. I can hit the draw. I can hit the
because it doesn't look good to me because I draw the ball.
Can you hit backwards?
My favorite green's number 10, even though it's closed now. My favorite green complex here is 10.
Yeah, 10 will be. We're opening 10. Actually, we're going to open it tomorrow. I
love
told
that
everyone
green
we're going to open it Saturday. I told the board we were going to open it on Friday last night. But we were out there this morning, and I think we're going to open it tomorrow.
That's a great green complex. That, and I'm looking at the other one right now, number 17. Number 17 is a great green.
Oh, yeah.
Where you hit it.
I green-wise, I love the 3rd green. I think that's got some funky pin placements on it. There's a big knob in the back.
How about 11?
11, 11, I don't see. I have a hard time with 11, 12, and 13 because they flood.
Oh,
and it's a big floodplain right now. It'll probably be on the club's list in the next few years. You asked me earlier about, if I had infinite amounts of money, I think I'd want to go out there. If I hit the lottery, I always said, if I hit the lottery, I donate some money to the club. If they let me do what I want, I want to just,
blast it.
Make it sick because I mean, there's a lot of water goes through there. I mean, all the water from this part of Gloucester kind of goes through there, and it's just a floodplain. But so I have a hard time liking those areas because when it rains a lot, like last year, I mean, I'll be standing out there in 2 feet of water.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I mean, I've taken a canoe from the 13th green to the 8th green.
Really? Oh, wow.
Last year.
Yeah,
I know that because all your members kept coming to my bar last year because they couldn't play.
On Fridays, and they were probably saying some pretty
I was listening to your members. I was listening to your members all last year that moaning that they couldn't play. Every week it was pouring down.
That's a challenge. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard.
AC, what are some of your favorite features about this particular spot?
About the golf course?
Yeah.
I mean, for a guy who's in love with his driver, I actually played well today because I actually did something I'm not used to doing. I played smart. I hit a lot of hybrids and free woods, and I course management because this course, I mean, more so than any course I play, it's a premium on putting the ball on the short grass. I mean, you don't have to be long. The wind's always blowing, which I should be used to where I grew up on. But you got to put the ball in play. You put the ball in play, you're saving yourself half a shot, basically every hole. If you do what I did last week and you're putting it right, you're putting in the right rough, you're putting left and left rough, you're not gonna be behind the 8 ball after like 4 or 5 holes. Today I kept putting the ball on the short grass, and what let me down today was my putting. If my putting, I made some putts today, I was like, they weren't as fast.
We haven't cut them all.
I know because you haven't cut them. I was playing with 2 members, 2 lady members and a gentleman, and we were all putting out of memory what we're used to putting on them being slick. We were all short all day. Short all day. Even though they're Virginia, we play with 18 short all day. From the first hole to 18th hole, just kept leaving it a foot short because we've got muscle memory with the greens here being so slick. Yeah. But it's always a pleasure to play them. It's always a pleasure to play them. It's fun when you get on there. It's trying to make it. It's the greens against you, and the greens come out on top.
We're gonna go right now to.
Selected today, 228 yard, par 3. We're at Bass Rocks.
You never walk alone, my friend. All right. but it's effective.
Yeah, that's effective because the size of the green is a postage stamp,
For sure.
and everything kicks left. So
And as you
20
see with
feet's
my
good.
attire there, a good friend of mine, actually from Brockton, Mass, even though he's out in New York, a pro now, he told me about 30 years ago, he goes, AC, if you're not going to play good, dress good. So that's what I tried to do. I might be shooting 100, but I look good doing it.
Yeah.
I love how you went right up to the ball. You did
Oh,
not,
no,
you don't
no.
mess around.
Well, I mean, I see so many people stand over a ball like we do, and they're standing there and they take a long time to pull a trigger, thinking, I'm going to duff it, I'm going to top it, I'm going to hook it, I'm going to shank it. I don't try. I got so much going in my head. I just want to go see ball, hit ball. Whatever. I play with a lot of guys, and they've got such beautiful swing. The ball gets in the way. With me, when I step up to a ball, I got evil intentions. I got evil intentions with the ball. I wish I had a swing. It's like Legend of Bagger Vance, find your swing. My swing is fast. I talk fast. I work fast. Everything for me is fast.
But it's effective.
It's
There's
on that hole it was
That's
effective.
what your ex-girlfriend said, too.
There's nothing good about taking your time over the golf ball. I mean, you're going to talk yourself into a bad shot.
We played in 3 hours today. We played 18 holes in 3 hours.
Wow.
We first group up. We went through Frank Sablon, thank God. We were in 3 hours. We did 3 hours. I mean, if we had carts, we might have done it in an hour.
Yeah.
Quick.
3 hours walking.
So I had a question about that. We were here a couple of days ago, and we saw these guys, and the golf cart was like 15 feet in front of them, and the golf cart's going like this. And I'm saying, I'm actually not a golfer, but I'm saying, is that remote control? So they have remote control golf bags.
Yeah, so I saw those guys actually maybe 2 weeks ago out there, and I was like, oh, new toy, something to
Oh,
play with.
so that's
That's
relatively new.
Yeah, that's theirs. I mean, I've seen them now for a couple of years. I saw a guy got loose on him, and he drove it into the pond a couple of years ago during one of our tournaments.
Oh my God,
it's pretty funny actually.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, I mean, they've got all kinds of stuff. They got like a bike now you can ride.
Yeah,
I think one of the members wanted
it's like
to
a
get
scooter.
one. Yeah, I don't know.
Tried them out in Arizona. It's really cool. They have handlebars, and it's
I
like
got
a
a buddy like
scooter,
that.
and the
Like a little-
bag sits up front, and you just freaking
Really?
yes.
There's a guy
So it
I
can't
know a
be
guy
cheap.
has a Segway.
Yeah.
Segway.
Oh, Segway
Like
is
a
good.
Segway, you can
Segways,
literally
yeah.
Segway around.
So it's like the Wild Wild West. You can do if it's got wheels, you can put it on the course.
I don't think every course will allow that. I actually don't know what. I mean, the pull cart thing is no big deal, but the Segway, I'm sure there's places where they wouldn't let you do it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Augusta.
I played.
Comes to mind.
I played New Seabury a couple of years ago, and they actually had a device built by Bag Boy, which is well known in the golf business. But it was a very simple device where I kept something on my belt, and the thing would follow me. So there was no joystick or anything like
yeah,
that.
that's cool.
And when I was ready to hit, I would just turn it off, and then I would turn it back on. So I thought it was pretty neat where it was one of the better units that I've seen.
As long as you're not like going over the first hole and it just goes over like the cliff.
Well,
there.
that, or if you're, on the side of a hill,
Yeah.
you do have to be aware
Conscious.
of.
Do you keep
the
beers
terrain.
in your bag? 'Cause
Oh,
you don't want to let those be too far away.
You can't bring bears out here.
I know.
No.
Not when you're here, but maybe somewhere else.
But do you think that
sometimes.
the players, the traditional players, look down on those guys that have these gadgets?
I think years ago they did, but I think it's more common for people to have, especially older folks, including myself, because I have a push cart. I just don't enjoy carrying my own bag, even though bags are lighter these days. I just enjoy pushing something as opposed to carrying.
When I was a kid, I was a tennis member, and a lot of my friends were caddies, and those guys had a great time. They loved being a caddy. Do you have a caddy program here?
There is a caddy program, but it's kind of gone by the wayside. I think, our memberships tends to be a little bit older. It costs a decent amount to pay a caddy. I mean, a lot of people think maybe I'm wrong, but if I'm going to pay, I might as well take a cart,
Right.
and I don't have to walk.
Right.
I would. So I know there are caddies, but I don't think it's as grand as.
Yeah, I think the
some
going rate
places.
for a caddy these days is at least $50 or $40.
More than that.
More?
Yeah, $100 a bag.
Yeah.
You
$100
just exposed yourself as a
$100.
cheapskate.
Yeah.
No,
$100 plus tip.
There's nothing better than a caddy.
No,
though.
it's
I
not.
mean, there's no
Well,
better
you
way to
find
help
out in the great courses of the world, great courses of America. You want to experience, the Pebble Beaches of the world, and the Whistling Straits. You got to take a caddy for
Right.
local knowledge.
Yeah.
I mean, this course really, apart from like a one or two, this course is laid out in front of you. It's laid out. You can basically see, apart from one over the thing, you can see everything that's in front of you. Number 7, maybe, need someone with there. You got the courses like Pebble and all that, or St. Andrews, or the Royal County Down where I grew up. You definitely need someone with local knowledge if you haven't played there. Someone to say, listen, especially a couple holes at St. Andrews. You look at St. Andrews, you're aiming right there, and your caddy goes, aim 60 yards over there, and you're like, the flag's right there, 60 yards, and you get there and you see what he means.
Yeah.
You're very fortunate course he is right in front of you. Certain great courses out there, a caddy saves you a lot of shots, especially, which is a taboo we don't talk about, especially when you're having a bet with the rest of the people that you're playing against. You need that advantage.
So if you got big money riding on a thing,
you got a good caddy. Good caddy can make you some money.
I played in Ireland, and a lot of courses we played, you had to take a caddy.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had tremendous caddies.
Oh.
And if you're a decent golfer and you're able to listen to your caddy, the guy would say, "Okay, hit your 200-yard shot." You'd be at 120, and he'd say, "Hit your 200-yard shot." You'd be like, "Okay, I guess I'm hitting my 6-iron," and he'd be like, "Aim it, like you said, aim over there." You instead of aiming there, I would have never played those holes the way I did. 2-3 shots.
Well, I was back
9.
when I was back home. Right, when I used to go back home to Ireland. I used to do when I got older and wiser. So, like 22, maybe 22, 23, I'd go out. Say I was playing Royal Dornoch, where Donald Ross was born. Royal Dornoch, great golf course, 2 courses there. I'd go out. I always remember I'd go out the night before, and the guys with me from Connecticut at the time, I was living in Connecticut. He goes, "You haven't got a caddy yet." Like, I'll have a caddy by the end of the night. And they're looking at me like, "Don't worry, I'll have a caddy." Well, we put this, I'll have a caddy by the end of the night. So I'd go to the pub, I'd go be in the table, I'd go and talk to what I consider the prettiest girls over there. I'm like, "I'm playing Dornoch tomorrow. If I give you $100, if I win, plus bonuses, incentives, can you caddy?" They'd be there on the tee for me all the time.
Nice.
I'd pick the prettiest girl to caddy for me, and I used to do it all the time. So much so that my buddies, years later, goes, "Hey, see, I used to do the same thing. I'd go to the pub, get a girl, so I give her $100, she caddy for me." The way to do it,
That's pro move right
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah.
I was playing Old Head in Kinsale over in Ireland, and had a caddy, older gentleman on number 3, had a good drive. I sculled my second shot to about a foot, and he looks at me, he goes, "You know what we call that here in Ireland, lad?" I'm like, "No, what?" He goes, "We call that the sister-in-law shot." And I said, "The sister-in-law shot?" He goes, "Yeah, you're up there, and you shouldn't be." I dropped to the ground. So back to the caddies. It's not just knowing the course, but they're entertainers.
They're definitely good.
Yeah. So I dropped to the ground. One of the best.
That's tremendous.
You're
up
pretty
there,
good.
I also know a story, the flip side of that. We're talking about earlier on Kernwood. I also know about Kernwood. So the 17th hole of Kernwood is a par 3. And I know for a fact, because I've heard of a couple of caddies in the day, I guess there's quite a few members of Kernwood who are very frugal with their money to the caddies. not very generous, which, believe it or not, in this day and age, being in the restaurant business my whole life, that never happens. The 17th hole is a par 3 up the hill. And a couple of caddies used to lay behind the hole, and the certain members would come up that they weren't particularly fond of because they were not generous, and they'd hit the ball on the green, and the caddies would sneak down and put the ball in the hole. So the certain members would have to pay for drinks and all that. That's a so I know, and it's out there right now. I know there's a lot of members at Kernwood. Your hole-in-one's not a hole-in-one. Just be more generous, and it won't happen.
Be careful.
So wait a second. So I heard that if you're a member here, you automatically get enrolled with insurance for
hole-in-one insurance.
Hole-in-one.
Right.
And that's not even an option. That comes with your membership.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I don't know how long ago that was, but it wasn't common.
I don't think it was. I think it was common at Kernwood at the time. That's why they did it.
So some clubs
caddies
build it
are wicked
in.
smart.
Some clubs just make it optional, so the member can buy it if they want.
Yeah.
So I think Kernwood.
That's another thing I don't understand. I mean, me personally, and I've been fortunate to have a few hole-in-ones. I think maybe it's just the Irishman in me. I think when you have a hole-in-one, everyone else should be buying you a drink.
Right,
Not
exactly.
vice versa.
Yeah.
I,
You know what I mean?
I agree.
I don't get that. That's always been, I mean, I don't mind celebrating that. That's always been, I've seen some people fly off the golf course when they've had a hole-in-one because they didn't want to put their hand in the pocket. I've seen that happen more than one occasion.
Especially when the parking lot's full.
Oh, I've
and
seen
you know
that.
the bar is
Yeah,
full.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that. I actually, it's a course in Harwinson, Connecticut, Fairview Farms. I played in a golf tournament there. True story. What hole now? 12th hole. It was a scramble tournament. They had a $1 million hole-in-one on like number 12, 190 yards, 200 yards downhill. Not even close. I freaking pushed it like I did on 18 here today. I pushed it 50 yards right. Not even close. $1 million hole-in-one. No. I step up to the 13th hole, the next hole, with my driver in hand, 350 yards, cut the corner, and stick in the hole for a hole-in-one
my
on
God.
13.
On a par 4?
On the par 4.
That is awesome.
Not on the 12th hole. No,
Where the money was.
Not the numbnuts Irish guy. He gets on the next hole where it ends up costing them money.
Oh, my
So
God.
that's just typical me. That's an AC Whitfieldism right there.
Oh, my
AC
That-
professional.
that is awesome.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there.
That is awesome.
So the Gloucester High School golf team gets to use this as their home course.
Yeah, 20 years. 20
for
years in the
20
making.
which is very generous of the course to
It is.
share the course with the
It is.
kids.
But I've been up here when Gloucester High School team's been either practicing or a match. All gentlemen, they're all dressed appropriately, and as long as they are following the rules and they're appreciative of what has been offered to them, they're good guys.
Yeah, they're great kids.
Little known fact, well, maybe not so little known, but the hockey star Jack Costanza was also captain of the golf team.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Did really well.
Yeah.
They
I'm sorry, we were talking earlier about the course record. So par 69, the course record's 59, 10 under, by St. John's Prep player,
Mark Turner.
Mark Turner.
I think he goes to Dartmouth now, right?
He goes to Dartmouth now. Unbelievable player, probably ranked in the country.
That score is.
Yeah.
I know his mum and dad, so they were at my bar. I found that fact out at the Beauport last Tuesday because they sat down with me and we're talking golf, and they informed me that it was their son who had the 50. I guess some gentleman had a 62 or 61, and he came back like a couple of days later and got a 59.
Oh,
That's
really?
that they were telling me the
wow.
story. That's at 59.
But,
oh my
but
gosh!
he did it by making a 2 on 18, which is a par 4. So he sunk a 7-iron from the fairway for number 2 to go to 59. So
That's
pretty impressive.
Very impressive.
There's a lot of young good golfers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some
The
really
solid
good young
kid?
talent.
Again, better.
Nice kid,
Again, better.
really nice kid. His brother's a good golfer, nice kid too. Nice family,
Yeah.
nice family.
Yeah, Turner Seafood.
Turner
That's
Seafood.
the connection.
Yeah, nice
Turner
family.
Seafood.
Yeah.
But Jeff Guzzi won the club championship. He was 27 or 28.
What do you think that is? That these, there's this resurgence in golf, but like there's a lot of young kids that are like smoking the old guys. What is it?
No, they got the kids nowadays. They got just see them when you go out and you see them on the phones all the time. They got the technology. They got the all these apps, and they can help them now. Whether the swing plane.
Yeah.
Me myself. There's a famous story. Ben Hogan says the truth is in the dirt. Where you hit the ball, you learn your swing. Here now they got things. They can go on launch monitors, TrackMan. They can see everything, angles. They optimize everything. They've got these kids. I just mentioned the other day, you got a kid like Ricky Fowler, the girls love. They're great golfer. He's like, 27, 28 now. I don't think he's going to win a major. Because every year you got 10, 11 kids coming right out of college, Oklahoma State, Duke, Wake Forest, and they're ready to go right now. Nicholas, in those days, these guys used to go on the road and learn, get their marks and get their stripes. Now these kids are ready to go. As soon as they come out of college, they're ready to go. They're ready to win.
The Masters winner, how old was he?
Oh, Scotty Scheffler's been. Scotty's old. Scheffler's old in layman's terms. But you got the Maverick McNeelys. You got this kid there, Cameron Young. I mean, when I was watching golf when I first came here, Bubba Watson. We all looked at Bubba Watson like, oh my God, he hits it so far. I watched this Cameron Young playing with Bubba Watson at Scottsdale. He was putting 40, 50 yards by him all day. And Bubba Watson, we used to say, is the guy's an animal off the tee. Now you got these kids, they're putting 50 yards by these kids. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, this kid was hitting the ball like Bryson DeChambeau without the effort that Bryson DeChambeau. the ball, they're hitting it so far, and these kids are just they're working out. The regiment's good, all down to Tiger. The regiment down, they're all hitting it, building up. I mean, no fear. They got no fear either. I mean, I step onto the 7th tee here. I'm like, oh God, how am I going to make a double today on this hole? Because it's got my number. Certain holes.
You just said it too. I mean, these kids, they know the importance of the mental game.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it before the podcast. That you just get up and hit the ball. Don't think about what you're going to do. These kids know. They're not afraid.
They're not afraid. They're not
afraid. That's when you.
I mean, maybe they're afraid over the ball. Maybe they're afraid when they're playing the Fortnite, they might lose a life. Yeah, but that's about as afraid as these kids go. They're ready to go. They're ready to go. I mean, I got a good story. This is like my highlights of for me golfing. 4 or 5 years ago, I went to try and qualify for the Mass Open, which I did. I shot name drop. I shot like a 68 at Cohasset. I qualified. I played, I think it was that day, I beat 90% of the pros. I finished second in the whole 120 tournament. The kid, Form Bjornsson, was out there. Out of Needham. Kid. He was like this scrawny kid. Form Bjornsson. Everyone said, next time I saw the kid, Form Bjornsson, he's finishing 5th at the US Open, or top 10 at the US Open at Pebble Beach. He's like this. He's bulked up. Jacked up. Well, he's worked out regimen. He's put meat on his frame. And I saw him, and now he's probably... I mean, we're talking about Mr. Turner. I've never met the kid, but we're talking about probably one of the best. I think he's turned pro, one of the best pros, and he's like 19, 20 out of Needham. I mean, the kid out of Needham, he's brilliant. I mean, I saw Golf Channel. He's doing a video with Rory McIlroy. They're doing a video down in Florida to get him hitting balls together. It's just coming out. There's dime a dozen. It's like finding a bartender, in Hollywood. You find all these bartenders like the Tom Berengers of the world. They're all bartenders because they're trying to make it in Hollywood. It's dime a dozen now. You go down to Florida, you got the Sunshine Tours. There's dozens and dozens of these kids. The only difference now is you get someone like the Jordan Spieths of the world who can putt. That's the difference now. They all hits it long. It's who can putt. Brad Faxon, you get someone who can putt like Brad Faxon or Jordan Spieth. That's the difference in $5-6 million a year. These kids going to make it. Someone comes along who's a great putter, they're going to make it hands down. That's why Tiger was so good. Clutch. Yeah. It's all down to the point at the end of the day. We know that, right?
Yep.
All down.
Yep. You can scramble all day. I mean, I think watching the Masters, you saw
Scotty Scheffler.
My God! I mean, he was hitting the ball sideways.
Yeah,
so good. Recovering.
He
wasn't nervous. He was nervous. He was nervous.
And when he went there in the woods there, and
he was unbelievable.
You thought it was like, he's done. He's done. And it just keeps coming back.
Average golfer hits in the woods. They make triple, quad. These pros, they make bogey at West. That's why they're so. That's why they're pros. That's
and
why
they don't lose any balls because they have 500 people out finding everyone.
I know.
Exactly. Well, who was your son was saying that Scotty Scheffler will do well at the U.S. Open because he says that the Masters, the course is so forgiving, and the U.S. Open is way less forgiving.
That's Brendan's opinion. I mean, Augusta is set up where if you hit it in the woods
spray it,
more times than not, you have a shot.
Yeah, but you got the flip.
You have to hit it straight.
But you got the flip side.
If you don't hit it in the short grass, the rough is too penal.
I kind of agree, but you got the flip side of that. You got a guy like Mickelson who won 3 Masters, but then you got a guy like Mickelson who sprays it, finished in the U.S. Open like second, 6-7 times. So. I mean, you got the other side of that.
I think what he was saying is if he hits it the same way he did in the Masters at the U.S. Open at the Country Club, which is held here in Massachusetts this year, he's not going to score well. Brendan's opinion, my son Brendan. Yeah. So we'll see. Interesting. But he's taking bets. Anybody?
He's taking bets.
We're going to have a pool. Actually, we're going to have a pool for the British. Is it? What's
British
the one that's
Open,
coming up?
British at St. Andrews this year. British at St. Andrews, I believe.
PGA Championship.
Tiger, actually, might not be. Tiger's already signed up for the Open. As soon as he finished playing Augusta, he signed up right for the Open. So he's going over there because he loves it over there. I think it's St. Andrews. I think it's his favorite golf course, he said, in the whole world. So
really? Somebody else signed up, too. I forget who it was.
Phil just signed up for a couple.
It was Phil.
I love watching those ones where they have like Brady and Manning, you know what I mean?
Because the average golfer can relate.
The two pros and the two football players or something. It's just the commentary when they go back and forth.
I mean, but who's that with? That they did it like Brady and Manning at the Medalist, right?
Skins game?
Yeah. They did it at the Medalist.
Like the match. They do the match. It's called a match.
Yeah,
now.
at the Medalist.
They just did it with Aaron Rodgers and somebody else. Too.
Yeah. But they're doing it with sports personalities. They're missing the call in there because, they do it with Mickelson, they do it with Woods. They're missing the call. That thing is made for John Daly. I'm sorry. They want commentary. They want something funny. that thing is made for John Daly,
Bill
showing up
Murray?
with his
Content,
John Daly
content.
with
Yeah.
John Daly's beard, hitting the ball off a beer can. That's what the average golfers want to watch. See what Daly's up to. I mean, they get to
How about
put Daly out there.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray as one of the guests, with the pros, without a doubt. But Daly's made for that. I may still haven't. I don't know if the copyrights infringements or something am in trouble. John Daly's made for that. They get better viewing figures than they get from Daly and Mickelson against each other with two personalities. It'd be brilliant.
It absolutely would. The food here, by the way, Mike invited me last week. It was sitting out on that deck. It was
The sun was baking down.
the sun, even though it was like probably 55 degrees, but the sun was on us. It was magic out on that deck right there. And that the woman, was it Darlene Canigliaro? Decon?
She's a hot ticket. She's great.
She is worth the price of admission, that one.
Yep, she's fun.
She had us in tears here. We were watching McCarthy duff the ball all over here. And
It's tough on your game.
It was a lot of fun.
The guy doesn't swing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's tough on your game.
Easy for me to say.
I
right?
know, for a guy that
Easy for
doesn't
me to
swing.
say.
Yeah.
But the wings here, I think the wings are my favorite wings in
Dry
town. Dry
they're
rub
not,
they have.
yeah.
Really good, interesting.
I like the buffalo myself better than the dry rub. but,
Really?
yeah, they're both good.
So what are some of the other go-tos from the kit that if you're coming here?
See, it's just so seasonal. They change stuff up.
Always check the board when you come in.
Yeah,
They're
there's
special on the board.
Yeah, I mean, I like when they have like a pastrami Reuben or even like that. The haddock Reuben is always good.
Yeah.
They make a great burger here. I mean, Paul and Matt do a fantastic job with the pub food here. I've never had dinner here, so I can't speak to that, but I'm sure it's great.
And they have the barbecue out on the deck. I don't know if you saw it, but he does have some barbecue specials occasionally.
Really?
Some ribs.
It's GoodmanHospitalityGroup.com, exclusively at Bass Rocks Golf Club. And we should. Oh wait, they're all booked out for the summer, right?
Yeah. So there is a function facility here at Bass Rocks, but in talking to Peter Hood, who is the director here, unfortunately, I think between the club events and then the outside booked events, there's no availability for the remainder of this year, and said next year even is slim. So that not only applies to the function room, but the wait list is open here at Bass Rocks if you're interested in becoming a member. But we're talking at least 5+ years before you will likely get in.
So what would be what's the downside of putting your name on the list? Is there a downside?
No. I mean, especially if you don't live local, but maybe you're planning on moving to Gloucester at some point, put your name on the list now. I don't know how Peter is working it, but there may be a possibility to get your name on the list and become a social member, and be able to participate in some of the so-called activities, and maybe even have some golf privileges. So there are a number of different membership opportunities. Again,
there a list when you
may be
joined?
limited. What's that?
Was there a list when you joined?
There was. I joined
you got
3 years
2 rounds
ago.
a month, and you had social privileges right away.
Right.
Two rounds a month.
It's
That's what it
definitely changed.
Yeah.
Has
So,
changed?
well, because we've taken, just with the explosion with COVID, the influx, and there's so many people on the waiting list right now that the course just gets jammed. So they're
You got
definitely. I don't
lucky.
know the specifics of what everything is now.
No,
Definitely
exactly.
Peter would know. But he'd be able to answer.
Yeah,
any
it's
questions.
definitely worth the call to call Peter Hood here at Bass Rocks and let him know your situation. And again, if you do see yourself spending some time here over the next few years.
And tennis program too.
There's tennis.
There's a big tennis program here.
Yeah, great course. I'm looking at him. Joe, you played on the courts.
Yeah, grew up on those courts, the Cahill's courts and these courts. Avis, when I was 9 years old, was my first tennis instructor. You want to bring her in? Is she around?
She's still here.
Here's a question, AC.
Yeah.
And for you, and actually you're a golfer as well. What percentage of golfers cheat?
A lot. A lot.
There's different definitions of cheating.
Okay,
in
why
golf.
don't you do that?
Well, one would consider, you get a 2-foot putt and you just go up and whack it,
Right.
and it doesn't go in the hole, and you count it as going in.
That's
I mean,
cheating.
Yeah, well, but again, if you're not playing for any money, it's just a pickup match. You're cheating yourself. So there's a lot of cheating yourself. Why do that? Maybe it's for handicap reasons. That's what I dislike.
I know a couple of people. The biggest thing for me, I mean, I've seen people move the ball on a golf course, but then again, you still have to hit the shot. To me, the biggest cheating is people who shoot really good rounds and don't put them in the computer.
Yep.
I know.
Yeah.
They don't. They'll shoot 75. All of a sudden, there's a member guest coming up.
Yeah.
They're playing off. Like I played a member guest last year, Wentworth by the Sea, and I played against a guy who played in our flights. We were fortunate enough to beat him by half a point, but the guy came in like a 12-14 handicap, and the guy never shot worse than 39 for 9 holes to all 6-7 matches. And the averages, there's a thing that Golf Digest or someone did, the averages of someone shooting under your handicap and doing that like once or doing it twice is astronomical. Someone to do it like 6-9 hole matches in a row. So that's why it's the reverse cheating. The people who say they give themselves 2 foot putts to shoot 70. I never really worry about them ones. It's the ones who shoot 75, 70s and don't put them in the computer. To me, that's the biggest.
Right.
To me, that's the biggest cheat.
Or the ones who, again, manufacture their score.
Oh yeah, finagle the handicap,
so that their handicap will either stay where it is or go.
And that's all comes down to what's not supposed to happen on the golf course, betting. It's all down to betting.
Right.
That's why they do it. And if they're not betting or doing anything, there's not a club championship coming up. It counts everything. It's all down to getting an edge, as we say.
Right. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Hold on. So, we have one question here from a James D. Asper. He wants to know. He specifically wants to know.
What's he want to know?
He says,
He always starts to do with me.
Ask Mike Coder if he cheats when he plays golf. That came to specific to Mike Coder. JD Asper would like to know. Mike Coder, do you cheat when he's putting you on the spot here?
That's a show of my bow right there. I mean, on one, you take a secondary ball on one on your first
breakfast
tee
ball.
Is that considered
breakfast ball?
Breakfast ball.
Breakfast
AC,
ball.
to you on that?
I never played breakfast ball with JD, so we don't have breakfast balls. I don't know what kind of game you got going with him.
So I guess
I always play breakfast ball.
So Chris
you
plays
do?
breakfast ball.
Always.
But
But
Mike,
it has to be on the first tee.
Mike, every hole you
If
can't
you
have a
want
breakfast
eight,
ball.
every
It has
hole.
to be on the first tee.
Every
if you want
hole.
to drop a ball and hit it again, drop a ball and hit it again. That's what you need to do. Just go on, drop a ball and hit it again.
Another way that people cheat, Joe, is they if they hit one out of bounds, they don't hit a second ball.
No,
They
don't
go
play
up
out of
and they
bounds
use
state.
it like a
They say it's
lateral.
free
Yeah.
when it's not when it's 4.
I've seen JD do that a bunch, actually.
Oh,
gee,
here we go. There we
God.
go.
JD, it's
Oh,
stroking
boy.
distance.
Oh,
Not just
he's
stroke.
shaking his
It's
head right
stroking
now.
distance.
He's shaking his head right now.
Okay.
There's a lot of
God.
controversy here.
The controversy. I'm staying out of
JD's
this one.
nickname, they call him the hot pencil in Rockport.
Oh, God.
So we have Avis Murray with us, the
Avis.
legend. Sure. We'll bring Avis, come on in here.
Joe, Avis gave you tennis lessons?
Avis, I'm gonna let Avis. You just sit right down. We're gonna have a conversation.
How does this work?
So
You have to down that Coors Light first.
she can do that in 2 seconds.
No way.
She's a professional. Avis Murray, nice to see you again. We've known each other for a long time.
Yep.
Oh,
That's fantastic.
How many times has Joe cheated in tennis?
Never.
Never.
My kids don't cheat.
Why would I need to cheat? Why would I need to cheat?
I've had one though when I tried to talk with him once and he ran into the men's room here, so I couldn't go in after him. But it wasn't Joey.
Other than me.
Well, nowadays you can. You could chase him in.
Yeah, now you could. Actually. Avis, so tell me something. When was the first year that you officially gave a tennis lesson?
Officially, let me see, 1971.
1971. I was 4 years old at that point. So you were pretty young when you
No.
first. What do you mean no?
Well, I graduated from Gloucester High,
No.
and I worked 1 year for the school department, and then I always wanted to serve my country, so I went in the Women's Army Corps.
Wow.
I was like 18, and I stayed for 9 years, and then I got out and worked in Boston. All this time, I went in the Army to get out of the secretarial field, and of course, it was a critical field, so I ended up being a secretary to generals and that. But
Wow. Which generals?
General Tank. He was Charles Tank. He graduated from West Point. I was in transportation,
Okay.
and I was in Brooklyn, New York. A Hungarian uprising was then, and all the refugees came into
Wow.
Brooklyn Army Terminal. And then I got stationed in Germany,
Wow.
and that was when there was the Cold War.
Oh, wow.
But I did get to Berlin, and then I came back home and couldn't quite adjust. All my friends were gone,
Yeah.
and so on the 89th day, I went back in for 3 more years. And
Oh, my goodness.
during that time, I was playing all sports, but what happened while I was at Fort Devens, there was one of my colleagues. She was an athlete. She did the Olympics and everything. And we played basketball together. We played softball together. And she played tennis. And there was a first Army area tournament at West Point. So I owned a racket. So because I had a racket, she couldn't go alone, so I had to go with her. And they wouldn't allow them to go to these tournaments with just one person. So apparently while I was practicing, there was this major, Harry Bannister, who was a reservist, was watching me. And when I came back from West Point, I mean, I competed, but I didn't know any of the rules or anything. But, I mean, at one time I was hot, and I went to the backstop to get the shade and sitting down, and somebody came by and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, cooling off." And they said, "It's not an odd game." And I didn't know what he was talking about. But anyway, when I came back, this major took me aside and taught me all the strokes, and taught me the game. And I played tournaments next 2 years, and I was close enough that I could come home weekends. And I had a friend that used to knock on my door at 6 o'clock. "Come on down to the tennis courts." So I did that, and I got a job when I did get out in Boston, again, insurance agency, secretarial work. And so I was there 5 to 6 years. So to answer your question, I think I might have been 34
Wow.
or 35 when I first started here. I adopted a man, and he was a good buddy, and I was losing weight yearly, and I said, "All I want to do is teach tennis, 10 hours a week for $10 an hour."
Wow.
And he said, "I think they're looking for somebody at Passwalks." So I found out who to contact, and I was interviewed and offered the job 3 months a year with no benefits, and gave up the 12 months a year with benefits, and look what happened.
The rest is history.
That's
Yeah,
great.
this is history, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you were there. You were with us over at the Cahills.
yeah.
Yeah, that's where I got my start. And
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of lives that you have touched over the years and presided over so many careers, and just such a wonderful gift to our community. It's amazing, and the accolades that have been bestowed upon you. Like, I don't know that there's anyone more deserving of these accolades. Your perseverance, like, what keeps you going?
My love of the sport.
Yeah.
And I just want to give back, as long as I can, because it's been so good to me.
Mm.
I mean, I took me a few years. I got certified the very first year, 1971, where you have the PGA and tennis has a USPTA. So I've been a member there for 51 years. But, it's like my mother was retired, and I went to my first world conference in 1986 and played this international conference, tennis people from all over, mainly the United States. But like, I'd have my mother come along, and I'd send her to one seminar with a recorder, and I'd go to another one, And she was retired at that time, so she worked at the shop for me. We just had a wonderful relationship with everybody, and the people here are just tremendous.
Mm.
It was 3 generations of Shimataros, right?
Yeah,
There are 3 generations.
yeah.
Was he the best dressed?
In some form.
Was he the best dressed? Did he always have like
No,
polo and stuff on?
Felicia always got him.
Well, I mean, from a men's standpoint, men's league.
He was sharp. They
Sharp.
all were.
Oh,
Yeah.
They all were.
So tell me, who was the
Frankie was.
who was the best tennis player to come out of Gloucester in all your years?
Oh, God.
Andre
Out of
Agassi.
Gloucester. Again, That's a tough one.
Has anyone from Gloucester?
There's a couple from Manchester that did go on the circuit for a while. I don't believe there's been anyone. They mainly went on and did well. Like Frankie went on and did really well
Hall of
at
Fame at Curry College.
College.
Oh, Frankie, your cousin.
And in a lot of the kids that I've had played on the high school team. Winters, I went to Manchester Athletic Club because they were built. It was built 2 years after I was here, so I had full-time employment. The first 2 years, I traveled to 2 other indoor clubs because they were just being built in the 70s. It was
exploding.
Yeah.
Bjorn Borg and John
But,
McEnroe,
you know,
Jimmy Connors.
I've had kids that just went on and maybe played Division III. And there were 2 girls at Manchester that did well and did
Joanne
travel.
Soames.
Yeah, Joanna. And there was another one, Ellie. It was a Cummings girl that did very well.
Did Ed Caluste build Manchester Athletic Club?
Yes, Ed built the club
Derek,
in the ground.
Derek's father.
Derek's dad,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You know, my favorite part about going for tennis lessons up at Manchester Athletic Club was the blueberry muffins.
Oh yeah,
They had
they were fantastic.
Does it join Marsh?
they grilled them for you with the butter, and,
Oh yeah.
and if you hit the little can at on the baseline, you get to get a
Really?
little treat. Yeah.
But you know, I just felt thrilled sometimes when a student of mine elected to take up the profession of teaching, and I've had a few of those. And it's like every other sport, you know, that you get them in high school and then they play in college, and then it's a whole different world out there now. And they, you know, if they've excelled, it's like golf. There's only like one in how many they're going to be up there. But I just found with even a lot of the adults that I work with, if they move and they play golf or tennis, it's so much easier for them to adjust in the community because it is it is a sport that is social.
Right.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, 100%.
Whether they're cursing out on the golf course or cursing under their
They don't. These guys don't curse on the golf course. What are you talking about? These guys are gentlemen.
It's not allowed. Not allowed.
Yeah, no.
No, it's been very good to me, and I'm very humbled about getting some awards that I've gotten, and a little shy about it.
Do you play golf?
We heard, right?
Yeah, there's
What's that, Mike?
There's more awards coming too.
Oh, really?
I understand. Yeah.
Well, you just ruined it for her. She didn't know there were
She
awards
knows.
coming.
She knows.
It was supposed to have been in 2019, and it because of COVID, and I was hoping they'd forget.
Swavis, can you tell us about the awards? Can you spend a minute? Just tell us about the
Well,
awards.
one of the they're all memorable, but one of the there were 2 that really stand out. One was getting in the Hall of Fame for the USPTA New England, and I was notified in early October, and my mother was in intensive care, so I was able to let her know that I was going to receive this in June. So I'm down there and in Newport, and they have the horseshoe grass court as you walk in, and then they have this piazza around. Well, there was 120 from Gloucester. So they had to open up the room up above for everybody. And they said it's the only time they ever made a profit was when I got inducted. But I'm not very good at public speaking. I even don't like doing this, but I cracked up. Yeah, but I did. I said something funny in the beginning. They waited till the last for me, and I get up there, and I'm downstairs, and they were all up there, and it was being taped up there. So all of a sudden, I said something funny, and there wasn't anything. And all of a sudden, there was a roar, and I said, "Oh, time, something." So it got me laughing, and I was calm about the whole thing. But they went down for the weekend. A lot of them stayed Friday night, Saturday night, came back Sunday, but there was 120 somewhat, and that was quite an honor. And the other was getting the National Professional of the Year. I forget what year it was, but it was in Florida, and the membership's about 13,000, and I was the first female to receive this award, and so I had to get up at the award ceremony again, and I did okay. But friends surprised me with that one. All of a sudden, it was my doubles partner that we'd won many nationals together, and a friend. All of a sudden, they appeared, and then Ann Woodalaro came down with Jim, and then my sister surprised me. She didn't like to fly at all, but she flew down on Friday and flew back with me on Sunday. But I had gone down earlier, so that was nice.
There's so many countless people that you've touched their lives in deep ways. The community, I mean, I don't know how the community could ever repay you for the good things that you've done for them.
Gloucester's always repaid me. Just walk down the boulevard, go over to Stage 4 Park, and, walk up Hampton Hill. I said, how did I ever walk up there? But just, it's just a wonderful community. And this club is especially, I tell everybody, you call this work. I come in the morning, I look out here and I'm like, you call this work.
Do you know, are they accepting tennis members?
We had about 20, it's more than 20 on the wait list, and we did bring in 14.
14.
And so we do have 9 on the wait list now, but
Okay.
we only have the 3 courts. And it's a very active membership. And also, that's tennis memberships. And with the golf membership, you're entitled to play tennis. So we have about 30 or more golfers that like to play the sport as well.
The tournaments,
So it's gonna really-
are a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Really? We
it's
should
gonna
I
be
mean,
tight this year.
I haven't played tennis forever, but when we were kids
Totally.
in the tournaments here,
Yeah.
it was like, it's a lot of the kids.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you, back then I had 20 boys and 20 girls on a tennis team with 3 courts.
Wow. And Joe was probably drinking.
No,
Never,
No?
never, never.
No, we had
He used to iron everyone's shirt. He was making sure, Joe was making sure everyone looked nice.
Yeah.
Clothes were clean.
He had a steam
Oh, they
cleaner.
were good kids. They were all good kids. They had flash. They
Spray
all
starch.
liked it. They had fun
Spray starch.
together too.
We had a lot. We had a great group.
Every time I think about it, 40 kids on 3 courts, I wonder how did I ever do that?
What
I
was
managed.
Joe's greatest strength in tennis? Do you
I
remember?
didn't. I was not a
Can't
great.
think
I
of
was
one
never
right
a great player.
now.
I was
His
captain.
teacher?
I was
Let the
captain of
teacher
my. I was
respond?
captain of my tennis team in high school, but I was.
We had a tennis
I
team in high
was
school?
never.
Did we have a tennis team in high school?
Well, it was tennis and golf. It was tennis and golf. They combined the two.
Where's Russ? Can somebody get Russ on the
I
phone?
think his attitude and his personality was always stood out to me.
That's very nice.
Definitely.
That's very
Positive.
nice.
Yeah, always a positive attitude. And a great
You know
guy.
what? I'm gonna tell you something. Do you know that my parents didn't? Myself and my parents didn't figure out that I needed glasses in a big way until I was like 13 years old. Like the first time I put glasses on, I was driving from my house down the back shore, and I didn't even realize that the Good Harbor Beach was right there. I was like, "Is that Good Harbor Beach?" Oh my! So you can imagine, like trying to play tennis, you're not getting any read on the ball or anything like that. All those years, the
Whatever
ball
you gotta say, Joey. Whatever makes you feel better. If that makes you feel better.
These are my buddies. These
I
guys
know.
taking
you
shots
need-
at
If
me.
that game makes you feel
With friends
better.
like these, right?
You need friends like that.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes life fun.
that's right.
Since we're speaking of awards, again, congrats to Jimmy for the Elks, being the Elk
Elk
member
of the year, right over the hill there. Jimmy
Yeah.
Dalpiaz,
Yeah.
Elk of the year.
So Jimmy and Pat has won some awards for.
You know, they only gave it to him because he had a stroke, so they felt bad. They figured he was going to die, so they had to give him the award.
Oh shit,
I was just
Uh-oh.
joking. Oh, there
Joe,
goes the
you got to
light.
return this.
There
You
goes the
broke
light.
it.
Pat, I think it was Jimmy. Jimmy, you can't hit the table like that.
Oh, there's a little sleep there right here. Put it
Oh, right here.
right there.
Jesus.
Look at this.
All right, we're at an
One
hour.
thing that was fun when I first came here was that I wanted a family of golf and tennis. Because when I first came here, on weekends, sometimes the tennis players would go to the parking lot and drink their beer, in
Nice.
the car. And, you know, and I'm like, you know, I want
Community.
community.
Yeah.
So when I was in Germany, I asked my grand for some $20 and she sent it to me, and I got a golf bag. And I
Oh,
got a
nice.
set of clubs then, I think for like $25. So I played golf there. So I took a lesson from Bob Gillis.
Yeah. Wow,
And then
fabulous.
they had a Scotch foursome, which they have now. So I played in the Scotch foursome. And the other thing they had the Scotch foursome, and we'd have a social mix.
Yeah.
So I timed it so that we had it the same day, and everybody, it was potluck, everybody brought
Yeah.
things. So we'd have a table of tennis, a table of golf, like that.
Yeah.
And the food, there was so much food, there was food left over. So, you know, we started getting respect, you know,
That's
of
awesome.
both. And,
Yeah. Well, in a Scotch foursome, just in case people don't know, you drink Scotch very heavily, and then you go play golf, right?
it never happened to me. Is
Oh,
that,
yeah, I thought, Mike, isn't that the Scotch?
We call
is that where it came from?
It's the tequila foursome.
The key.
That's at the beach.
I don't think I could ever get Scotch beyond here.
Oh no!
Oh, it tastes like wood.
Oh,
Oh,
It's terrible.
peat, right?
Dirt.
You know,
Yeah.
the dirt.
Nice.
Tastes like
Well,
dirt.
Laphroaig, depends which one you're drinking. Laphroaig is, you smell like put your nose in, it's like a nice Scottish peat bog. I actually like the smell. If you're in the Highlands of Scotland, I love
I
it.
love
They
the
cut the
peat
peat
smell.
out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's certain people, you know, especially when you put one big ice cube in it really opens it up.
Yeah.
But everyone knows I'm an American whiskey guy. I'm not an Irish or Scottish whiskey guy. I like I'm a big flyer of the American flag when it comes to
Which one?
whiskey. I mean, I like the Blansons. I like my Woodford, my Jefferson, Hillrock. I'm always, you know, Widow Jane. I've got that at the hotel. I'm a big advocate for Widow Jane, which is out of Brooklyn. Not considered like the way Whistle Pig's out of Vermont. I love
Whistle
it.
Pig's out of Vermont.
Yeah, I'm big advocate for American whiskeys, just like American wines. I love American wines. I think they're the best in the world.
How about the Japanese
Could-
whiskey?
Japanese
Hey,
is
we
good.
could have another show, we could have another podcast just based on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things alone.
I think
We could have a Scotch
Scotch tasting.
tasting and play golf.
So is that true that this way the Scotch foursome?
No, I'm kidding.
Anything that comes
It's
out of
possible.
I'm wondering now.
I mean, it's possible. Do you know where the Scotch
I know
name
what
came
they-
from? Scotch foursome?
Scotch foursome, I don't know. I know about the 18 shots in the bottle. That's our 18 shots. That's 18 holes.
No, what's that?
Yeah,
What's that
18
say?
shots. 18 shots in a bottle of Scotch. That's why it came out 18 golf holes.
18.
The guys were drinking. They put a flag, had a shot. Boom, 18 shots. Each had a bottle. That's the story for the Scottish, for how 18-hole golf course came about.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Well,
that story I know.
I have
You've
a
tested
golf
it.
story.
Gotta be true. Was that on the internet?
John Fritzen was president of the bank and president of here when I was hired, and he was a scratch handicap. And one of the Scotsons, I got a hole in one.
Oh, nice.
14. I could actually see it hole. So I ran into the clubhouse and I told Bob Gillis, I said, I need another ball. I just got a one, you know. So I got a hole in one, and poor Fritz, and he said, I played golf my whole life, a scratch golfer, and the tennis pro got a hole in one.
Yeah.
I haven't had one yet.
Me neither.
And
Yeah.
the group I was with, one was a jeweler, and he was so thrilled for me. He had a pin made with a one and a hole in it.
Oh, that's
And
great.
the other one gave me something, a statue and a trophy with the ball in it. And then I went up, and of course, there was about 120 people, and am I supposed to buy the bar around the drinks?
See, we were just talking about that, Joe.
And then they said, no, just a table. So, and then
just a
one
table.
woman came up and said, what club do you use? I don't know. And then when I said, what club I use, she said, will you go out back and practice? I said, what difference does it make?
Yeah, right. That's
Can't get better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. My old man got 4 hole-in-ones, and now I'm wondering if it was
Did
the
he
whole.
really?
I'm wondering if it
It's
was
a whole. I
wonder
remember
if-
Cameron.
I wonder if he was the member.
He got 4 hole ones on 17.
How many were legit?
Yeah, on 17.
That's
The
all-
record number
that's all-
hole in ones on
that's all
one
I
golf
wonder if
hole
it
in
was-
Massachusetts is 17 at Cameron. Cameron's in the Guinness Book of Records having the most hole in ones.
The cheapskates.
17, the cheapskates, yeah.
I love it.
That's a great story.
Well, Agus, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
with us. This has been an honor to have you with us.
Give my love to Pat and me.
I will.
Say hi to
And Auntie
Alicia and the
Angela
girls.
and
Frankie.
And,
Alicia,
and VJ.
of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Amanda too.
DJ played
And
too?
they're all grown up.
Yeah, they're big now. Amanda was a big tennis
No,
player.
I know, man. I know it was big.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she did a lot right at Mac. She was in training at Mac, and then she got sick.
Yeah.
But
She's doing good now, though.
she's a really nice gal. I'd see her once in a while at the coffee shop, and she was working there. You'd get caught up with
Yeah.
how everybody is, and see your mother when she was working at Goodman's too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you again.
Well,
so much.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
It was nice meeting you.
Nice to
Avis.
meet
Thank you for your
Yeah,
service
you
too.
came in. Thank you.
Avis Murray,
Yeah,
legendary.
legendary.
Legendary. We're so honored.
There's
I think-
dancing golf right there.
Tennis and golf, they get along. See that? You just saw that. We're at an hour. I had a question for you, Chris, and the question was, you get a check from the club, unlimited amount of money. What changes? What would your ultimate change to Bass Rocks be?
We just talked about that early on, right? The green.
Top three.
Yeah, there's so many things. I think I would probably do something here in the Meadows. There's 4 holes I can impact at once. I'd probably make the pond bigger and put some mounding in, and maybe open the creek up all the way down. I think that'd be one. Maybe move some tees and stuff around so that everything sat a little bit better for your view up here.
Can you get rid of the berm on 18?
Oh, I love that.
I like it.
I love it.
I mean,
I love it.
I'm much more of like a classic golf
Yeah,
kind
that
of
is classic.
thing. So things like that you'd see
That's
probably
awesome.
in Europe.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I wouldn't want to. That's what makes this place
I'm
special.
kidding.
Is you walk
Yeah,
around and
that
do
is
stuff.
cool. Unless you hit it in it, which with the wind behind you and the tees up a little bit, I can
Like
hit
AC
it.
said, course
See,
management.
course.
I love the brook you have here, along between 16 and 18. Me personally, I build another brook. That's the other side of the fairway there, where 18 have the brook running along. I like make a man-made brook run all the way to the left side of 18. I'd have a brook either side, but that's just me. I like it.
Yeah,
Really differentiate. Really put a premium on your driving and second shot.
yeah. And a huge shout out to Chris for again the great job on the golf course. The staff here at Bass Rocks I'd put them at the top. I've played a lot of golf in my life. Peter Hood, Todd, Jake, the golf staff, rest of the golf staff, number one, in the way they run this place, the way they treat you when you come here. I mean, it's a GC, not a CC. GC is golf club
Right.
versus country club.
Right.
And
What is that? Okay, give it the different.
It's
I
all
don't-
about the golf. The commitments to golf.
commitments to golf, nothing
first.
too fancy, and you don't have to show up here in a 3-piece suit to have dinner.
Mhm.
There isn't a dress code, but you can be yourself up here, and the membership is strong. Great people. So I'm telling you, this is the place to be if you live in Cape Ann. Put your name in now. We'll see you in maybe 8 years.
Whatever it is. Yeah. So, okay, good. The last question we're going to go around. We're going to say, what's your favorite golf course of all time, and
Okay.
what is if that you've played, and
Yeah.
what is the golf course that you've never played what's your pinnacle?
Yeah, I would say other than Bass Rocks, Yale Country Club in Yale, Connecticut, or New Haven, Connecticut. Unbelievable layout. Actually, reminds me a little bit of Bass Rocks. A lot more traps, pot bunkers, challenging course. The 9th green.
Par
there.
threes, one of the best par threes in the world.
Yeah,
Yep.
reminds me of the 11th green here
Little bit,
at Bass
The
Rocks.
9th of Yale's a lot longer.
Yes, especially with the wind in the face.
Down and up, that's a big
Yeah.
one. Palmer's paper par 3, that one.
Yeah, and then probably Augusta. I'd love to play Augusta. I'd give up a lot to play Augusta.
So let me ask you a quick question for you knowledgeable golf guys. Augusta obviously is what's considered the Masters and everything like that, toughest to get into. Does it deserve to be like? Are there? There's been so much wealth created in the last 10 years. Are there courses that are actually much nicer than Augusta, but they're just not called Augusta?
Oh yeah. They're prettier golf courses.
I grew up with a different. I grew up like this. I grew up link style golf courses. So to me, they're the prettiest. Where the ocean meets the water in Ireland and England, they're the pretty. I mean,
Yeah.
I could name drop some of the courses I play, but I still, at the end of the day, if I'm going to play one course, I'm either going to play Royal County Down or Royal Port Rush back in Northern Ireland. There's going to be one course, say, Adam, you got one course left to play, and then that's it. He's going to be waiting for you up there. It's Royal County Down. But if in America, and I've been fortunate enough to play the course you haven't played 3 times, so I'm a Shinnecock guy. I love Shinnecock, and I played Pine Valley. I've name drop. I played a lot of great courses, but I'm a Shinnecock guy because it reminds me of back home, the water long guy. I love Shinnecock.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah. For me, I would say my favorite one that I have played might be right next to Shinnecock. National
golf links is awesome.
And only because I haven't played Shinnecock, I worked
love
there, but I never
golf
played
course.
it. So National's great. I think maybe Lahinch in Ireland was.
We call Lahinch in Ireland. We call it the St Andrews of Ireland. That's what we call it.
Yeah, Lahinch. Had a great caddy there too.
Yeah, that's what I see.
And then maybe Cyprus would be the one.
That's what I want to play.
I
had the chance to play it, but I couldn't do it. Cyprus is the one I want to play.
I would want to play that I haven't.
Pebble Beach, Cyprus. Every time you do the video, every time you do the Pebble Beach AT&T, they'll pan over to the famous par 3 at Cyprus. They'll show it. It was Faldo and Nance. Oh, we just played there a couple of days ago because the other one played there. Cyprus,
Cyprus is great, and I would just agree with what you said, AC. It's all about what your style. I mean, if you talk about the Masters, like that's not me. Like, I just don't like that ultra manicured. I like this rough, old features, old golf course style. Yeah.
Well, when you look at it, Bobby Jones designed Augusta. He was his ode to St Andrews because he fought St Andrews. St Andrews, like we're talking about, our favorite. It's a link style. It's on the water. Even that's what it is. Augusta, even though it's inland, Bobby Jones designed it after St Andrews, a links golf course. So Bobby Jones is basically telling you, I've got the land here, but my favorite course is a links golf course on the water. So that's what he's telling you.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much. This has been fantastic. Mike isn't really a golfer, though.
Is that a golfer? Is he a golfer? He dresses like a golfer.
Really? Are you a golfer, Mike?
When you hit it backwards.
I thought you were a big pickleball guy.
Hey, Joey, how many guys you hit the ball left, right, frontwards,
I thought this way wasn't supposed to come up.
Frontwards or backwards? You hit the ball backwards?
I heard that you hit the ball 3 times backwards in the same session.
Yeah, that was last year.
That was twice backwards.
Yeah, and then this year I played with Mike. 18th hole, the second shot into the green.
I see. I just want to play with him now just to witness this. I'll come along.
And I hit down and so hard, went up in the air, went back, I caught it.
Literally goes behind.
He can hit the shot behind himself.
Yes.
That's hard to hit anything.
Oh my god.
So I play golf just enough to hit a few good shots to keep me coming back.
Hits it behind himself.
So it's Beverly Golf and Tennis, Folly Hill, Salem Country Club here, and I would say Wentworth by the Sea up in Newcastle.
You like Wentworth? In Rye?
I like the
in
Rye?
Right. I play the Abenaki every year. Abenaki. Yeah, I play Wentworth by the thing.
I like the ocean courses.
You know how much I love TV and movies. I always say that at the bar. I was always a Munsters guy ahead of the Adams family, even though my name's Adam. The episode where Herman goes golfing, he steps up, and he's teaching Eddie how to golf, and the ball markers, they're all around. He goes, they're leaving the ball on every tee. He used to bring me to like 500 yards. That's all. Every time that episode's on, when he takes up baseball and he work out, the Yankees can't pay him because all the damage to the clubs he did, they can't afford to sign him.
That's funny. That's funny.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Hey,
there it is.
Thank you.
Oh, there's my beautiful wife just chiming in.
What time are you going to be home with dinner?
No, she's the best. She is the best. As a matter of fact, thank you everybody for joining. Chris, thank you so much. AC, thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
If you haven't been to Beauport for the to the Raw Bar or Beauport, the legendary bar,
AC Island,
AC Island. There it is. If you're looking for a property to buy or sell, there it is. There's your team, the McCarthy
Chris, good to see you.
Kate
We're get out there.
And Charlie McCarthy. They are beautiful. They're funny. They're efficient. They're smart, and they're dedicated. And they will make your dreams come true.
Wow, he's got that line down.
Is that right? There you go. Kate, I love you, baby. I'm gonna miss you next week. I hope everybody has a great day. And we're going to go out with one more time, AC.
selected today, 228 yard, par 3. Here at Bass Rocks.
You never walk alone, my friend. All right. Come back. Kick left off that mound. I mean, in between clubs.
Right.
Little town with big news.